Oh my gosh, what a start to the NFL season. The Ravens Chiefs came down to a big toe that was the only difference between my pick. I had the Ravens. I'll be honest with you. I had the Ravens in that game, and a big toe was the only thing that kept me from victory. Almost nearly nailed the score as well. And what about that Packers and Eagles game? Obviously, no shock that I had the Eagles. But listen, we're worried about the Chicago Bears right now because the Chicago Bears are playing football this weekend, and I want to talk about it, and I also want to pick the rest of the game. So, Sammy, let's go ahead and start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Rank.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
Brought to you by Circa Sports, Illinois. The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to the weekend edition of the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. It is going to be a great one. We are going to be doing picks in a matter of minutes. We're going to do a quick Bears preview and some other good stuff. And just like I do want to take a quick word. I want to say a couple of things because I know a lot of you play fantasy football, you follow fantasy football, and so I wanted to say I know this is not about the Bears, it's not about the Titans or anything like that, but I do want to say, listen, before you waste all your fab on Isaiah Likely this weekend or this coming Tuesday, please don't do that. Like, it was a great game. We've seen this before though. Week 1 is extremely weird. Strange things happen. The Kansas City Chiefs have a history of shutting down Mark Andrews. I shouldn't have been so optimistic going into that game about him playing well. Don't worry about that. If Isaiah Likely is going to be a factor on this team, that's actually better for Mark Andrews because they need some help right there. Additionally, Xavier Worthy. For those of you who didn't start Xavier Worthy, please don't worry about this. Why would you start? Think about this. If I told you before the game, if I said, hey, listen, Xavier Worthy's touching the ball 4 times or he's getting the ball 3 times and he's going to drop a pass, you'd be like, there's no way I'm starting that guy. He scored on 50% of his plays. These things don't matter. The guys that you should be excited about, Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice was targeted a ton, a lot of receptions, a lot of yards. I would be a little worried about Travis Kelce. I said this in the preseason. Look, the guy's going out with the most famous woman in the world. He's doing a podcast with his brother for $100 million, and he's got back-to-back Super Bowls. What is he playing for? Why is he even out on the field? I question him and all that good stuff. I don't want to get into the Packers game because, honestly, I don't care that much. We're worried about the Bears. But before I get to the Bears preview, I want to let you know that the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertips in Illinois. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better moneyline splits, more in-game betting, and the best customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. And if you or someone you know might have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234 Circa Las Vegas. The best, the absolute best. We did a fantasy draft there this year. I would implore everybody to do that at some point. You got to check out the Circa. It's unbelievable. And now it's in Illinois. You could not ask for anything better than that. Okay, let's talk about this though. Let's talk about the Bears. Let's talk about the Titans. First of all, I'm freaking out because I got a DM from George Wallace. George Wallace, the famous comedian. He's like, it's football, and then he called me the name for a female dog, and whatnot. Unbelievable. So I'm a little bit rattled. I don't know how to respond to George Wallace. I want to respond to him, and I want to be like, oh my God. It gets weird. When people like that follow me or respond to me, I'm like, I don't know how to compose myself. If Matt Forte drops into my mentions, I can handle that. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. No big deal. George Wallace, I'm beside myself. I don't know what to do. But let's talk about Caleb Williams, a person who was never rattled, never nervous. He talked about being nervous in his first high school playoff game, had 2 fumbles, and then went out and they destroyed the team that they were playing. Now, Caleb Williams will make his debut at home for the Bears in week 1. The Bears selected Williams. I know that I've lost my microphone. Hopefully everybody was still listening to me through that. The Bears selected Williams, number 1 overall in the 2024 NFL draft. Everybody knows this by this point. Now, the number 1 overall picks to start in week 1 of their rookie seasons, they're 3-14-1 since 1970. The 3 quarterbacks who won: Jim Plunkett, 1971, John Elway, 1983, and of course the legendary David Carr, 2002. Remember, the Houston Texans were an expansion team, played host to the Dallas Cowboys, and they beat them. But since that time, since David Carr, number 1 overall picks, starting week 1, 0-8-1, which is wild because all these guys coming into the NFL ready to go. But here's the thing, and I know actually Kyle Orton was the only rookie quarterback to make his first career start in week 1 with the Bears. They lost 9-7 against Washington. What was that, 2005? Orton threw for 141 yards, something like that. The Bears, listen, I know what the history says and everything like that. The Bears are the only current franchise to never have somebody throw for 4,000 yards or 30 touchdown passes in a single season. We get all of that. We've talked about this at great length. It doesn't matter anymore. Caleb Williams is that dude. He is special. He's a transcendent player. And I know we felt that everybody, you felt this way about, I did feel this way about Justin Fields. Justin Fields did not join a roster like Caleb Williams is experienced right now. Now, obviously, this team drafted Rome Odunze, and the Bears were the first team in the common draft era to select a quarterback and a wide receiver in the top 10 of the same NFL draft. First time this has ever happened. And Williams was the only quarterback selected in the first round of the 2024 NFL draft who did not have a college wide receiver teammate selected in the first 5 rounds of the draft. Think about that. Jaden Daniels has 2 first-rounders with him, right? Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors. All these other quarterbacks had all these great receivers that we're working with. We had Jerry Rice's son. I'm saying we. I'm not a USC guy. But anyways, Williams threw 15 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions on deep passes last year. And then they draft Rome Odunze, who led the FBS with a Huskies school record 1,600 receiving yards in 2023. He had 23 receptions, 783 receiving yards on deep passes. That's air yards of more than 20. The connection is already there. We've seen that working with them throughout the preseason. Odunze, the college football league leader. DJ Moore had more receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns than all other Bear receivers combined in 2023. You got him. He's got close to 60, or he's got like 6,500 career receiving yards. Keenan Allen had 108 receptions last year. This team is absolutely loaded offensively and defensively. Now, we did see Montez Sweat pop up on the injury report. That is going to be something that we're monitoring. But this defense, who finishes one of the best teams last year, or at least one of the best defenses, is now going up against the Titans team that is quarterbacked by Will Levis. And credit to the Titans. They went out there and they did their thing. They went out there and surrounded their quarterback with a lot of talent. They brought in Tony Pollard to join Tajay Spears. They got Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd played for head coach Brian Callahan in Cincinnati. And by the way, the slot receivers dominated in Brian Callahan's offense. By the way, Jake Browning, who had 7 starts last year under Brian Callahan in Cincinnati, completed 70% of his passes. So I like this Titans team, and I like what they've done. But to me, it comes down to the quarterback. Whose quarterback are you counting on to make the big plays when they were doing it? Like, which quarterback are you counting on? Which one? If you're sitting there and you're going into a card shop, you want to buy cards of Caleb Williams, or do you want to buy cards of Will Levis? And I will tell you this right now, at Windy City Sports Cards, they specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you're a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, or Sky, they've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. In addition to their Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast collection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams and players from around the United States. So if you do want a Will Levis card, you could probably go ahead and do that. But here's my thing, and this is why I will be picking the Chicago Bears to win this one. Number one, I'm a homer, and I'm definitely not going to be picking it. I'm not going to be picking against the Bears in week one, not in the opener against the Titans. I'm just not doing that. Again, I think the Titans could be very good this season. I think there's still a lot of question marks, and it comes down to the quarterback. So for me, I am going with the Bears. Actually, a sizable win. I got the Bears winning this one 28-18, which is different from the score that I put out with Braggs. I went back to the score that I made with the NFL.com. So NFL.com makes us make picks, and I'm going to go over. Those are going to be most of my picks. But I'm picking the Bears by 10. I think that's what I had earlier with Braggs. I had 23-13. I'm moving it to 28-18. I'm going to give the Titans a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Cosmetic touchdown at the end to make it seem a little bit better. And I'm sleeping easy with that one. Sleeping easy like I have my Manta sleep mask. By the way, if you want to experience one of the best nights of sleep in your life, go to mantasleep.com and go get a mask, man. These are the only masks designed and optimized for deepest possible sleep in any environment. 100% blackout for deeper sleep, infinitely adjustable for personalized fit, absolute comfort. Visit mantasleep.com and use the code SICKBEARS for 10% off. So we got the Bears game in the books, and now it's time, everybody, for the Sick Picks.
It's time for Sick Picks, brought to you by Circa Sports, Illinois.
All right, for entertainment purposes only, I got to say that. For entertainment purposes only, these are who I'm picking to win the games. I am just saying who the winners are going to be. I'm going to give you a score. You could probably also find these somewhere else on the internet because this is what I do for a living. Now, as a giving you full transparency, I had the Ravens winning 28-26 on Thursday night, and had they made that conversion, had the touchdown stood as it should have, if Isaiah Likely gets his foot down, they get the 2-point conversion. I'm a point off on that one. I feel very good about that one. I had the Eagles winning 25-20, but let's go with the rest of the Sunday and Monday slate. And let's start off with the Saints and the Carolina Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to be much more improved this season. They spent their offseason. They put a lot of resources into the interior of the offensive line. They brought in Deontay Johnson, but the Saints also made a change at the offensive coordinator position because it's Derek Carr, can't play for the same coordinator 2 consecutive seasons because that's some sort of NFL bylaw. The Saints, to me, still have too much. I'm going to take the Saints 24-18 in that one. In Cincinnati, we have the Bengals, and there's a lot of question marks happening with the Bengals. T. Higgins looks like he might not play. Joe Burrow is expected to play, obviously Joe Burrow is expected to play. Jamar Chase, I should say, is expected to play. And who is their rookie wide receiver? Everybody was like, okay, he's going to be a healthy scratch. Now they're like, oh, I'm taking Jermaine Burton. I got to start him. But I love Chase Brown in this one. Chase Brown, it was no accident that they made this change because they wanted the home run potential of Chase Brown. And I think that this is one of the worst rosters in the New England Patriots that we've seen in quite some time. Give me the Bengals 35-10. Blowout city. All right, Texans, Colts. The Texans probably come into this season, or probably they do. They come into this season with a lot of expectations. I say they meet them. They beat the Colts 27-20. We got the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. Mike McDonald is the new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of people talk about how great his defenses are. However, I do think there's a lot of problems with the Seahawks team. And I think that Pete Carroll was able to overcome a lot of them. They've lost Dave Canales. They've lost Is it Dave Canales? Yeah, Dave Canales, Shane Waldron, and now Pete Carroll. Oh, man, I think that's too much to overcome. And Geno Smith is still their quarterback. Bo Nix, who has been described to me as a taller Drew Brees, got a lot of experience playing football. I'm going to take the Broncos in this one, 25-23. The Cleveland Browns are playing host to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, were embroiled in a holdout of their own. CeeDee Lamb held out. And, of course, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons both want to get paid. That's going to be an interesting decision for this general manager, what he's going to be doing with this team. One of the things that we saw, of course, Deshaun Watson is back. His father passed away, so we expect him to still play. We saw with Brett Favre a number of years ago how he rose to the occasion after his father's tragic passing. So I'm going to take the Browns in this one, 22-21. I'm giving the Cowboys a lot of credit, but what we've seen over the last couple of years is that the Browns don't beat, or excuse me, the Cowboys don't beat good teams. The Browns are definitely a good team. The Minnesota Vikings are playing the New York Giants. The New York Giants are going to be terrible. They're just circling the drain until they can hire Bill Belichick. Vikings giving it a go with Sam Darnold. I'm going to say the Vikings take this one 19-12. Sean Morash of The Fan was like, oh, if the Giants score just 12 points, I'm like, you know that Brian Flores is still the coordinator, Chief. Like, don't start writing checks you're behind can't cash. Justin Fields is expected to start for the Chicago Bears. No, he's not. Justin Fields is expected to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Russell Wilson is battling a calf issue. This is significant for the Bears because if this happens, then the Bears could end up getting a 4th-round pick from the Steelers, which would be huge. And then I think we would feel a lot better about the moves that we've been making. And it's more draft capital, too. We've seen Ryan Poles go out there wheeling and dealing. Despite the change at the quarterback position, I'm going to go with the Falcons 25-20. Still a lot of issues for me for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who's the wide receiver too? Pat Freiermuth just got paid, but the Falcons seem loaded. I feel pretty good about that one. The Buffalo Bills are playing host to the Arizona Cardinals. I have a lot of fantasy shares of Kyler Murray, James Conner, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. However, the Buffalo Bills are still in their Super Bowl window. That window could be rapidly closing. Sean McDermott is sitting there, and he's run out of scapegoats. There's nobody else to blame, Sean. If you cannot get this done, it is going to be all on you. But I feel like they rise up in week one. And gosh, what a tone setter that would be. If the Cardinals could go up there and win that game, that would be an impressive statement victory. But I don't think that it's in the Southsiders, the former Southsiders. So give me the Bills 24-20. The Miami Dolphins playing my friends down in Duval. I love what Duval has done in the offseason. I think Brian Thomas is going to be a huge, huge impact player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Miami is a team that I'm actually picking to win the AFC East, partly because of the schedule, partly because of all the talent. Now, obviously, they lost Christian Wilkins during the offseason, but they signed like 30 other defensive linemen, including Calais Campbell, who's a huge vibe guy. They changed the defensive coordinator. I think the Dolphins have got a lot of good things working in their favor. I'm going to take them 26-20. The LA Chargers in one of the battles of LA playing host to the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't believe that the Chargers are going to be very good this season, but in a 1-week blip, Harbaugh getting as much time to prepare. I got to go with the Chargers 24-23. I will say this, though. Is Harbaugh going to be able to steal signals? Is that going to be a possibility? Buccaneers are playing the Washington Commanders, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going for their 4th consecutive NFC South title. Baker Mayfield was great last year, but Canales is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Is that going to have a huge impact? I'll say this. Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. Brian Quinn has done a nice job back when he was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, 28-3 notwithstanding. However, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in this one, 23-19. Give me the Bucs. And then on Sunday night, we've got the LA Rams on the road facing the Detroit Lions in what should be the highest scoring contest of the week. Give me the Lions 31-30 in a nail biter, one that ends similarly to what we saw on Thursday night, where it comes down to a final couple of plays. The Lions, though, get it done in this one, so I'm going to take the Lions 31-30. And then on Monday night, I think this is probably my upset. This is probably my one upset. I got the Jets winning 28-24. There's just too much going on with the 49ers. Like, the 49ers concern me. You know, the vibes with the 49ers just aren't there. You know, Trent Williams is he held out. Brandon Ayuk held out. Christian McCaffrey not only is listed on the injury report with a calf injury, but also an Achilles injury, which I don't like that. I don't like that. So for me, I got to go with the Jets. And I don't want, listen, you think I want to sit here and pick Aaron Rodgers? I don't. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to be picking Aaron Rodgers, but I think they get it done. I think this is one of the best rosters in the NFL. I really like what the Jets have going on. I really do. I think the Jets are pretty good. I'm going to pick them to win that one. I don't know if I did it on this show, but I'll reiterate it again. And before I say anything else, this is important to note. Anybody in the Southern California area, Rip Beer Company in Huntington Beach, the same place that we've always been, will be back. They've actually expanded the location. We're going to be back in the tap room again. Sunday tickets locked in. We've got a TV locked in with sound. We can pause it. We can play Bear Down, Chicago Bear. We can do all sorts of fun things. Get there Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We're the early game. And it's usually all of us Bears fans. It's Gary, the Vikings guy, and then Commander Bobby and his wife. Why can't I think of her name? You should know her name. Why? What do you care? Don't worry about it. But you know Commander Bobby. He's going to be there. I know her name. I'm not going to say it, though, because that's not polite. So Rip Beer Company there. But the thing about the Jets, real quick, and I'll close with this. In case I probably said this with Braggs, but if not, I'm going to repeat it here. And this might be the first time you've ever listened to the show or watched a video of mine. If you did, thank you so much. Like and subscribe these, by the way, everybody. Listen, send it to a friend and be like, listen, can you do me a favor? Like this guy's YouTube channel, whether you want to sit there and listen to this or not. It's fine. Just subscribe. That's the only thing I ask for. But I will say this. If I was booking the NFL schedule and I was part of the booking committee, if I was the Triple H of the NFL and I got to determine who wins the Super Bowl, what's a better storyline than the Bears not only becoming the first NFL team to ever win a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback as it started, but also beating the New York Jets, which means Aaron Rodgers would have to transfer ownership back to the Chicago Bears. I've now decided that I'm so greedy. I not only want the Bears to win the Super Bowl, which makes sense. I also want them to beat Aaron Rodgers. I think beating Aaron Rodgers would be the greatest thing. Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, kind of make up for 2009 or whatever it was. God, I'm blocking all these dates out of my head. It's all running together now. 2009, was that the Patriots? No, what was it? It was a Patriots year. We would have played it. God, there was a couple of times the Bears could have played the Patriots again in the Super Bowl, right? No, because they beat Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 40. So that's 18 years ago. Yeah, okay. But in any event, I'm taking the Bears in this one as expected. Gave all my other picks. Want to thank everybody for joining us here this weekend. We'll be back Sunday night with a quick recap of the game. And then the following week, we'll do our stuff with Braggs. We'll do our stuff with everybody. With Tyler, the Tyler Scott Show will be back. And then another week of the sick picks. And then now we're in the rhythm. Now we're ready to go. Now we're rolling. This is how things work. So thanks so much for being here. Hopefully we'll see you at Rip Beer Company on Sunday. If not, bear down and Sammy, play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.